What is up? It's AboveUp, and this is one of those end of the year videos that you usually see on most channels. I kind of considered doing one the way that I did last year, except instead of using Doom sweeping the awards, it would be Nier Automata this year. But the direction of my channel and the tone of my videos has changed a lot since then, and I don't think that joke would work as well a second time. So I'm just going to highlight games that I really enjoyed this year, or older games that I played and still want to give some more attention. Also, yeah, I am really tired. This is about the last time that I can record this year. Work is kind of getting busy right now. But anyway, this has been a very good year for games. Quite a lot of my favorite games of the past few years have come out this year, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's also weird for me to do this video because, like, this is the first full year for this channel on YouTube. A lot of the games that I am going to talk about I've actually covered already, and that's a first for me. I might do this annually, I don't know yet. Maybe I'll just have a completely different format, but we'll see. Nier Automata. It wouldn't be right if I didn't start this off with Nier Automata. I don't know what's left to be said about it. It's one of the few games I've posted more than one video about, and I've talked about it extensively with people. Mixing Yoko Taro's eccentric style, layered storytelling with Platinum's over-the-top combat systems was a match made in heaven. It's my game of the year, no questions asked, and definitely still worth checking out if you haven't already. Yakuza 0. Yakuza had a pretty good game this year. In fact, it's one of the best games in the series, and it's finally helped establish the series as a major deal in the West. Also, Kiwami came out, and it's also alright. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a game that I really need to play more of. I only recently bought it, and I've played short bursts, but I've loved everything about it so far. Also, am I the only one who keeps forgetting that this was released this year? It's one of those games that came out and just felt like it had always been here. Everspace. So Everspace came out of early access and it genuinely surprised me with how well put together it is as a space shooting roguelite. Of all the Beyond Dead games that I mostly got into for the channel, it's the main one that I keep coming back to from time to time. It's just such a cool game to fly around and explore in. Vanquish. Vanquish came to PC. I don't know how Rich Evans pulled this one off, but he did, and I'm grateful. Horizon Zero Dawn. It was okay. Tumbleseed. The point that Tumbleseed got overlooked as much as it did is absolutely criminal. I think some of the problem was the high difficulty of a marble maze game for people who have, well, never really played one, and roguelites kind of depending on being streamed and let's played for exposure. Audiences being confused due to their lack of familiarity with a marble maze game. A lot of new content has been added since release, and I think the game was even made easier in general. It's definitely worth trying out sometime. Dead Cells, a Metroidvania-style Bloodborne-influenced roguelite. That's a lot of buzzwords, but the game is really good though. Project Diva Future Tone. Future Tone has 2 major song packs, totaling the track list to about 200 songs. It's insane. I've slowly been chipping away at them since release, and I haven't played half. I might not need another rhythm game this generation. 20XX. It's that game that gave us what Mighty No. 9 promised, except it's also a roguelite. I heard this game's sales actually picked up in the aftermath of Mighty No. 9, and that's good to hear. At least one decent game managed to get more money out of that fiasco. It came out of early access positively, and that's always nice to see. Bayonetta. Bayonetta came out on PC. Now we have a best version alongside the Wii U one. Gundam Versus. It sucks that you can't use PlayStation 4 share on this game, otherwise I'd have some really cool footage of a game that I actually really enjoy playing here. Just pretend the function worked and the gameplay you are seeing right now looks really impressive. Neo. I desperately wanted to like this. I really did, but I've never liked Team Ninja's boss fights, and boss fights are about the most important thing to a good action game to me. It doesn't help that the way the boss fights are presented, that it's just this weird arena that's at the end of a stage. There's no build-up, there's nothing special about the room that they're standing in. You don't have this big open world where you can go in directions, everything is set up, so you should be able to at least do something cool with the entrance to a boss fight, or something cool about the setup leading into it, since you don't have to justify it with a connection to another place, but somehow that's asking too much here. I don't get it. Resident Evil 4 Otome Edition. If you've ever wanted the experience of being Ashley as she swoons all over Leon while he spends his time knifing down barrels filled with tiny boxes of gold in a corner, this is the game for you. My video playing this game for 40 minutes was one of my favorite moments on this channel. Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator 2. Baiken's game is fucking great. You did buy her game, right? Hitman. IO made Hitman good again. It's just a shame about the Always Online. It's also a shame about Square Enix, and it's a shame about Denuvo. But it's good on them for making a great Hitman entry after 60 years of it being a game series with only one good entry in it. I know this is technically a 2016 game, but the full Season 1 release was still 2017, so for me this counts. Bloodborne. Okay, so like all those memes about the Bloodborne machine, with people buying a full system to mainly play one single game, I can honestly understand anyone who unironically did this after having played Bloodborne for myself now. Two major From Software games the past 2 generations have really stood out to me, Demon's Souls and Bloodborne, and dear god, The Old Hunters is such an incredible DLC. Ys 8, The Lacrimosa of Dana. There's quite a number of games this year that would have my game of the year in any normal year. Yakuza 0 is one, Hollow Knight is another, but Lacrimosa of Dana is the biggest one. It's such a great entry into the Ys franchise that I'm almost sad that this came out the year that Nier Automata did. Ys Origin. I know, this is cheating. This is an 11-year-old game, but hey, it came out on PlayStation 4 this year, and it's a fantastic game. One of the best in the Ys franchise as well, redoing a lot of Ys 1 and 2 boss fights and areas without outright making Book 1 and 2 for the millionth time. It's a classic and absolutely worth trying out sometime. Ys 7. Alright, so this came out on Steam this year. I actually haven't really played it much yet. I just wanted an excuse to put a third Ys game here because I can. Tower Climb. Now, Tower Climb did not come out this year, but I wanted to highlight it because it gave me my proudest moment in playing video games in a very, very long time. After 80 hours of playtime, I finally managed to beat Tower Climb. It was a fantastic journey full of hardships, small victories, and clubs in which to respect women. At the end of it, my hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and I managed to defeat the evil space wizard as Eurobeat blasted in the background. The final boss fight itself might not be too hard, but the pressure of the harder areas behind him, mixed with that knowledge that just any tiny mistake can still take that victory away from you at any point in time, still makes it incredibly exciting and anxiety-inducing. As someone who in the span of 1 year has covered about 20 roguelites on his channel, with many more played in the past and planned for future videos, Tower Climb is my favorite of all time so far. Now, I know there's a lot of games still missing from this year, I just didn't get to them. There were too many game releases and quite a number of games I got into were time sinks. That, and I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I can't play the games that got released on there. A lot of the games that I played were massive time sinks and they kinda just locked me out of playing anything else. Kind of like, Final Fantasy XIV. There's also a bunch of games where I just played so little that I can't really give a good opinion on them. So the games that I look forward to still playing that were released this year include Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Cuphead, Prey, Sonic Mania, The Evil Within 2, South Park The Thousand Year Door, Gravity Rush 2, Tales of Berseria, Resident Evil 7, Heat Signature, Romancing Saga 2, Streets of Rogue, and quite a few others that I can't think of right now. I'm sure I'll get a lot of time to delve into these games as things will slow down in 2018, as the start of next year only has a couple of small games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Cyber Sleuth 2, and Monster Hunter World. Oh fuck. Yeah, well, so much for that idea, I guess. So yeah, this was my first year on YouTube, pretty much. I mean, I kind of started a couple of months before January this year, but I really started actually pushing for it at the start of the year. I think I started the year with like, I don't know, maybe 10 subscribers or something, and I'm past 800 now. It's getting crazy. It's actually really weird to think about this stuff, but I would like to thank everyone for tuning in, watching my videos. I've met some really cool people by doing this, so that alone makes me very happy. Anyway, the next year is coming, and I think I'm going to focus more on making videos on industry trends, news, and reviews in general. I'll try to move to more highly edited videos. I quite like editing. The thing is just I live in a really noisy area. I don't really have much time to record, and that kind of limits what you can do. I know a lot of people who make videos go, oh yeah, me too, but they don't understand. Like, I actually have to wait up until 2 a.m. To get about 2 hours of recording time, hopefully, because sometimes one of my neighbors is up at 2 a.m. and then they start getting noisy immediately, and they won't stop until like 5 a.m. But this is a street with like 2 trams that pass here, both directions every 5 minutes, and incredibly loud neighbors. And I think most of the freight transport of this city is actually done through this street as well. I will be finally moving out of here very soon, so that's why I'm mentioning this. Like, it's not even just a complaint, this is going to be over soon. While I don't think that my output is really going to increase that much, I do think that I'll finally be able to rest a bit more, because this has been a really hectic and tiring year for me. Anyway, this was AboveUp. I hope you enjoyed my videos this year, and I will see ya.